So what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Once again, you know I appreciate having you here. Stick around for today's video because it's about how I've gone from fast to chill. Thank you very much for sticking around, really appreciate it. Now today's video is about how I've gone from, well, I did say fast to chill. I was never the fastest rider, but I was a lot quicker than I am now. And I kind of want to explain to you guys how I got to the level of chill over speed and outright speed, and I need more speed and speed. I think you get where I'm going with that one. It was basically one thing that did it, and it's not a crash. It wasn't a crash. Most people would think it would be, but it wasn't. It was something completely different. So before I get on to what actually changed my riding style, I'll give you a little bit of a background into how I used to ride and the bikes I used to ride. Now when I started riding, my first bike was a Ducati, and then my second bike after that was a Street Fighter 1200 Bandit. It was all tricked up, full power. I think it was about 140 brake horsepower. I wasn't a wheelie merchant. I could wheelie, but I never really did, never got into it. I wasn't a stunt meister. I used to do rolling burnouts and then quickly learned that tyres cost a lot of money when you go down that road. It's all great showing off in front of people, but when you've got to pay for your own tyres, it's not such a great skill to have. So we used to ride around in the group. We weren't slow, we weren't the quickest. I was definitely not the quickest in the group, but I would try to catch up. I would try to be up there with the quick boys and basically riding above my limits. I don't know how I didn't crash at those speeds. Funny enough, all the crashes that I've had, and I've had a couple of bad ones, have all been when I've been doing normal biking stuff, like within speed limits, normal day-to-day riding. When I've been riding like an absolute idiot, I've never crashed. I don't know how. I've come close quite a few times because, as I said, I was riding above my skill levels most of the time. So that's what we used to do. We used to go around and just hoon about, basically. To give you an example, I used to work in a place called Purley, and we used to ride down to Brighton after work or late in the evening for a cup of coffee on the seafront, and we worked it out one day that it's averaging around 100 miles an hour. 100 miles an hour on the motorway, or the A road, whichever road we took. Can't even remember, it's that long ago because I'm old now. Looking back, it was dumb. It was really dumb. I mean, I had fun at the time, and I thought that's what it was all about. Getting everywhere fast, trying to get your knee down, trying to sort of like show off, get the fastest bike, get to the destination as quick as possible. But later on in life, I found out it wasn't. And the thing that changed me was I gave up biking for a little while after a crash, funny enough, when I had a scooter. I had a 180 SP Gilera scooter, a runner. It was a two-stroke 180cc. The thing was absolutely manic. Anyway, a guy decided that he was going to indicate left, turn right and knock me off. So I said I'm going to give up for a little bit, and I did. But when I started this job that I'm on now, I needed some kind of transportation because it's in London. So I was coming from outer London to inner London. So I went and got a little scooter and just plodded around on that for a little while. That scooter broke, and then I was in the market for another bike. So I went for a bike that I've always wanted, or the style that I've always wanted. And that's a KLR 650, a Kawasaki KLR 650. I bought one of those just to commute on and plod around on. And that's the bike that changed my riding style and where I ride and the roads I ride. It was a great bike, but you soon realise when you've got a 21-inch front wheel with dual-purpose tyres on it, you can't go round corners fast, and basically with that engine you can't really go anywhere fast. So what I did was I started changing my routes. I started changing where I was going. I would go to the same destination, but I'd take different roads there. So instead of going down to Brighton in 18 minutes, I would go down to Brighton in an hour and a half, but taking all the back roads and all the country roads. And I really enjoyed it. And there were certain places that I'd been past on the fast bikes that I never even knew existed. There were little villages, there was coffee shops, there was also castles and things like that. There was all these history places that I'd passed on the fast bikes and never noticed, because it was purely about getting there as quick as possible. And when you're riding that fast, it's all about paying attention. It's all about focus, because if you lose it for 1 second, that could be the end. Once I got on the KLR, I realized that there was more to riding than speed. So I started exploring. and I went out and explored all the country lanes around Surrey, all the country lanes down towards Sussex, East Sussex. I went down to Devon, and I absolutely loved it. And I realised I was conning myself with speed. It was all a con. That was not my riding style. I didn't get as much fun out of it. I thought at the time I was, but when I look back, I've missed out years of exploring. I've missed out years of having the fun of just chilling out and just relaxing and just enjoying the bike, the scenery, the road, everything around it as one experience, rather than just face on the tank pinned. And ever since that bike, I've looked for bikes that are comfortable. I sound old now. I know I sound old when I'm saying this. I look for bikes that are comfortable, that can do long distance. Okay, the Grom wasn't in that category. That was just pure fun, but it was slow fun. And one of the best things about me changing my style of riding is now, because now I know I can just go out and enjoy myself. I've got nothing to prove to anyone. I know I'm not the quickest. I know I'm not the best bike rider out there, but do I care? Nope, nothing to prove. I don't care at all. I really don't. And that's the problem with bikes. There's a lot of peer pressure. And I would say to anyone that's new, that's coming into biking, don't give in to peer pressure. Ride the ride you want to ride. Don't try and keep up with fast boys. If they're faster than you, then so be it. They're faster than you. You've got to deal with it. If you try and ride beyond your skill level, chances are it's going to end up in a painful heap. And also, as you get older, your reactions slow down. Your reaction time is slower and slower and slower. Now, people will say that it doesn't happen, especially people around my age, but I've noticed it. I'm nowhere near as sharp as I was when I was 25. Nowhere near. Some of the things I used to be able to sort of like steer around, and situations I could get out of when I was 25, I would have just slammed into the thing at this age. I've got to give myself more time to look, more time to react. And that's where the KLR has come in really handy, because changing my riding style means naturally I do that anyway. So that's cool. So that's about it. That's how I went from, I say fast, I'm not going to say fast again, how I went from relatively quick to chill. And you know what? I am so happy that I did, because I've seen so many things now. I've chilled out. I've been to so many places. Because if you think about it, if I didn't get into that mode of exploring and just go out riding, chilling out, seeing things, going to different cafes, just hanging out, having coffees, then chances are I probably wouldn't have got into motovlogging. And also that means if I hadn't have got into motovlogging, I wouldn't have gone to SCMM, I wouldn't have met all these great people, and I wouldn't have been going over to the States for the 3rd time. So all in all, my style change has been one of the best things that has happened to me in biking, bar none. It's one of the best, and I wouldn't change it for the world. So that's about it for this video. As usual, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this video, do those things that you need to do, because guess what? Yes, you guessed it, if you don't, bad things are going to happen. On that note, I shall bid you farewell. You know I love you all. Stay safe. Fish out.
Get all your bags, get out my house. I don't want your stuff around. I never did you wrong, but you did me wrong. So go ahead, get gone. Get all your bags, get out my house. I don't want your stuff around. I never did you wrong, but you did me wrong. So go ahead and get gone.